The world of Pokemon. We've had 7 great regions to explore over the past 20 years. Each region was as diverse as the last, and each were based off real world locations. Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, and Sinnoh are all based off Japan. Kalos is inspired by France, and the Unova and Alola regions are based off the United States. Now, there are still so many places Game Freak could choose as an inspiration for a new region, and that is the whole point of this series, to take a look at real locations from around the world and reimagine it as a Pokemon region. And in this episode, as part of many suggestions still from Shantan, we will be checking out and reimagining South Korea as a Pokemon region. South Korea, a beautiful subtropical and very mountainous region of East Asia. It is also extremely urbanized and would make for an interesting Pokemon region. Just because it's heavily urbanized doesn't mean there's no nature to explore. South Korea has many beautiful features that would make amazing settings for a Pokemon game. They have majestic mountains that would play heavily as the setting, since a majority of South Korea is mountainous. But that wouldn't stop people or Pokemon. People adapt to this and use this to their advantage, creating terraced rice fields to make farming easier. I would like to see more farms in Pokemon. Sun and Moon, we actually got to see a ranch for the first time, so it would be interesting to see what sort of Pokemon could live there in the rice fields. But most importantly with South Korea, the beauty and the land and culture is always incorporated into their architecture, so despite being heavily urbanized, they are still in touch with where they came from. Because of the geography of the map, this region would be very unique since a lot of the centers of population are on the coast. Also, since how heavily urbanized this location is, I would want this to translate into the game with very few towns and a lot of cities. It would be a straightforward circular region, but I would have other paths open that could act as shortcuts. It would all end with a short ferry ride to the Pokemon League on an island south of Korea. But now with the visuals to give you an idea for what the region, it's time to bring in the Pokemon. And South Korea has no shortage of unique animal life. And first up is the water deer. And I know this looks familiar, and that is because we have had its cousin on the show, the musk deer. They are small deer that do not grow antlers, but instead grow short fangs. To play on their name, I would have this being a normal and water type Pokemon, possibly being an early game Pokemon with late game potential. It would have a high attack stat to take advantage of the fang and biting attacks it would get. It would get some water attacks such as Aqua Jet and maybe Waterfall, but it would still hit hard and be a good overall Pokemon. Next up is the giant molted eel. These freshwater dwellers can grow up to 6.5 feet long depending on their sex of the eel. Having more gender differences would be welcome since we don't really have many of them now. I see this being a bulky, slow Pokemon with the potential to be a hard-hitting with the right nature. Typing for this was harder, but I want to settle on the water and fighting type. The size alone would mean this creature has a lot of muscle, and I really want to see a serpent fighting type Pokemon. And the last inspiration is actually a non-animal and a non-plant. This is something from modern time. Yes, a robot. South Korea is rising in the robotics world and even holds claim for the newest, smartest robot. They even have created a giant mech just recently. To grasp the culture, I would want a robotic Pokemon, another man-made Pokemon to join the ranks of the likes of Porygon and Magearna. It would be a pure steel type but would have an ability to gain a second typing with an item it's holding, similar to how Arceus works but not that extensive. It would be one of the pseudos of the region and it would have high stats all around as well as learning good moves to take advantage of all its typings with its ability. With such a beautiful land and diverse and unique Pokemon, we need a legendary to define the region. And like all the Asian world, South Korea has an amazing mythology with their culture. This is the Haetae. Its English name best describes it, the unicorn lion. In Korean mythology, it wears a bell around its neck and has a scaly hide. This amazing creature is known to protect the land from natural disasters and is even the symbol for the capital Seoul. This would be the perfect Pokemon with a fairy and fighting typing. Not only would it be a new typing, but it would be so powerful with its attacks. It would be like all box legendaries with really good stats favoring attack over special. It would be an interesting inspiration and I can see this in the future actually. South Korea, a mountainous peninsula that would work well as a Pokemon region. And it is so close to Japan, there is a chance we could actually see this location somewhere down the road. It would be a region I wouldn't mind seeing. If you have any location you'd like to see, and if it's new or I did it in a group video, let me know, and when I do your location I will always give you a shout out as thanks for helping me keep this series going for so long. If you enjoyed this location and video, leave a like and share it around. It helps me grow as a channel and I really appreciate it. Follow me on Twitter to know when all my videos go live, as well as to know when I might be doing something special. The link to that can be found in the description below and on the front page of my channel. And, as always, has been your guide to the world and beyond, Black Phoenix. Thanks for watching, everyone.